Seen an article in the Detroit Free Press, which I'll link into the description, so you know that it's Trill, that indicates that numbers may say Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer or going to be a Hall of Famer. Motor City Sports Talk, we in the building. It's your boy CJ Goodfellas as usual. Told you guys we was going to double dip earlier today. Also be on the lookout for a season preview, and I will get to that video request about the new NFL tackling helmet rule today, God willing. But no, Matthew Stafford is not a Hall of Famer right now, you know, and his numbers may say so, but you got to know, you know, matching numbers and errors in sports are different. The game in football in particular is totally different. Even the NBA is totally different right now because the rules are kind of changed to be towards the offense. May it be the hand check rule in the NBA, and that you can't be physical, and all these guys get into the free throw line. In NFL, where you can't touch the receiver after 5 yards, you can't hit the quarterback in a certain position. All these different rules, you know, it gives the offense a bump up and be able to throw for 5,000 yards. The way the game is played is different. The way it's called is different. That's why you got all these guys with all these touchdowns, all these yards. It's a different type of game. Back when Joe Theismann and Joe Montana, Dan Marino played, it was a different game. You know, more of a run game, more of a, you can be physical with the receiver all the way down the field, and you know, the defensive line or defenders didn't have to worry about the strike zone and the quarterback not hitting them too low and not hitting them too high, helmet to helmet. It's a more physical game. But no denying that Matthew Stafford has Hall of Fame type talent. No denying he has Hall of Fame type of arm talent, and he has some great mobility as well. He just was placed in a situation that was tough. A team that was on 16, or organization that had lame duck after lame duck front office. May it be Matt Miller in the year that he left. He left. Stafford came in right after that. And Martin Mayhew and Tom LeWine was part of Matt Millen's cabinet. They were extension of Millen. They were the ones telling him to pick the sorry guys, or picking the Charles Rogers over Andre Johnson. They was making those decisions, you know what I'm saying? And they was gifted with another opportunity. They was promoted after being a part of a front office that went on 16. They were promoted, you know. And Stafford had a tough draw. They missed on terrible drafts. You can go back and check the archives and look at our draft blast. Matt Millen had some terrible drafts, and so did Martin Mayhew. His drafts was terrible. It was one year he only had hit on a 6th round pick, and that was Quadre Diggs. You know what I'm saying? Terrible. Bob Quinn's already had way better drafts than both of those guys. So it's the first time that Matthew Stafford has had a stable front office that know how to make the right pick. Bob Quinn ain't doing nothing flashy, or he's not doing, nothing out the ordinary, taking a lot of major chances and risks, but he's doing the right thing. He's building it the right way. And I think for Matthew Stafford to be considered a Hall of Famer, he has to win. He has to win. He don't necessarily have to go to 7 Super Bowls and win 8 Super Bowls and win 1 or 2 Super Bowls, but he has to win. But if he brings a Super Bowl to Detroit, that's the equivalent of like 3 or 4 or 5 Super Bowls somewhere else. And that's the same for Cleveland Brown. 1 Super Bowl for Cleveland, that's huge. That's like 4 or 5 Super Bowls somewhere else. So if he can accomplish, not only just taking the Lions to the Super Bowl, which might be enough to get him over the hump with his numbers, but winning the Super Bowl, he's instantly a Hall of Famer in my book. And, hopefully he can do it. You know what I'm saying? We had some bad luck. We see team after team rise up. Philly rise up and get one. We see Arizona make it to one year. We see the Seahawks get one. I mean, you say, man, we got this good quarterback, great quarterback in his prime. And, he went through a whole, more than half his career with Martin Mayhew, surrounding him around subpar talent. Mayhew knew that the Lions didn't have a secondary. He just neglected it. He played defensive back in Tampa. We'll not give them cornerbacks. We'll not give that front 7 quarterbacks. We didn't know how to figure out how to pick a running back and how to get the Lions to run the ball. Hopefully Bob Quinn can get Stafford a run game. He's going to be dangerous. And Patricia get that defense together with Quinn. But overall, Stafford has to win. Not just make it to the playoffs. He has to win playoff games at least. He has to win to go to the NFC Championship. He has to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. Well, if he wins the Super Bowl, he's a Hall of Famer. But I think he can start winning playoff games and getting deep into the playoffs. He'd be a Hall of Famer for sure. But if he brings the Super Bowl to Detroit, he'd be on a pedestal that I think no other athlete in Detroit would be on. You know what I'm saying? And I think he sits above Isaiah Thomas. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, if he could deliver a Super Bowl in Detroit, and he'll be a surefire Hall of Famer. But is he a Detroit Lions Hall of Famer right now? Absolutely. He's the best quarterback we had since Bobby Lane. And little small nugget, him and Bobby Lane grew up on the same block. You know, Stafford way years later. So in Highland Park, Texas, which is a very, very rich part of Texas. But Smarter City Sports Talk. Let me know what y'all think on this subject. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All links into the description. Continue to share, subscribe, like. We gone.